You will get exposed to this virus in the future, even if you have already had it or have already been vaccinated. You won't have a cloak of protection that will cause this virus to just bounce off of you. Hey guys, Shalon here. I am a nurse, and I care about empowering you to take responsibility for your own health. So today, we might as well just face it. No one else can or will help you if you don't first take steps to help yourself, me included. So let's look at ways that we can take personal responsibility for our own health. Today, I will try to translate this complicated idea of vaccines into everyday terms. Your immune system uses the blueprints that you receive in a vaccine to build your own personal antibody factory. Those are based on the details of the invader, the virus. So it is prepared to attack that specific virus whenever your body detects it again. Ideally, this is done before you have ever seen the real virus out in the wild. This process produces something called memory cells that roam around looking for a specific invader. It's encoded for that invader. In this case, COVID-19. When you eventually come into contact with the live virus, your vaccinated body can immediately and automatically ramp up production to fight off this virus without any delay, because those cells recognize the invader and then immediately send out the warning signal, ramps up production of all of the immune cells that will then track down and kill the invaders, each individual little one. Your immune system is amazing. It will now be ready to fight that virus anytime because you prepared for the inevitable ahead of time. See, you have an army on patrol, on alert for the day when they meet this notorious virus face to face that they have been training for, to recognize and then to destroy. So if you're not vaccinated, then your body has not been given the mugshot of these bad guys or the blueprints on how to destroy these invaders ahead of time. So what this means is your immune system will not have pre-assembled that antibody factory to fight the virus. And once you're exposed to the real live virus out in the wild, you're simply screwed. If you are not terribly lucky in health and have been born with a miraculous immune system that never goes crazy or starts to freak out when exposed to things, but once exposed, your unvaccinated COVID virgin body has not only to deal with this massive inflammatory response, the immune response can cause so much damage, but also the damage that the virus itself will cause when it attacks your cells. All it wants to do is reproduce itself. And basically, it uses your body's cells for parts. At the same time, your immune system has to figure out what this thing is that's attacking it, start to draw up its own little set of blueprints from scratch, and then start to build your antibody factory. That takes time. Only then can your immune cells, your antibodies, finally be encoded to attack a specific virus and fight them all one by one, millions and billions. While your antibodies are out there trying to figure out the virus, it has already picked up a huge lead inside of you. And it's doing a ton of damage to your cells that it is taking over to make its little production. So by ramping up your antibodies to fight the specific virus can take weeks in normal, healthy people. It literally can take weeks. Some people may be lucky and it might only take 7 to 10 days, but on average it takes weeks. Now, you might be in serious trouble with only days of exposure to this virus. That's how destructive it is. And it will seek to replicate itself in your cells, destroying those cells. To add insult to injury, when your immune response is caught off guard like that, it can go off the rails, causing even more damage to occur. by overreacting and to starting this overreaction inflammatory response called a cytokine storm. So let me also address a few little misunderstandings that I've heard often enough that I'm concerned. You will get exposed to this virus in the future, even if you have already had it or have already been vaccinated. You won't have a cloak of protection that will cause this virus to just bounce off of you going forward. Just like with the flu, new strains will come along and you will run into someone that's battling it, and the virus will attempt to break it into your cells if given half a chance. Your immune system will hopefully kick its butt right out of your body with extreme prejudice, because you will already have the basic factory built after your initial exposure, whether that exposure was live virus exposure or from the vaccine. You normally will be okay with minimal symptoms because you've got those little guard guys out there, those memory cells looking for invaders. These assaults happen over and over again, depending on how often that you're put into a situation or in the path of someone who's dealing with an active viral infection, and how strong your immune system is at the moment, how well you're eating, how well you're taking care of yourself, how healthy you are. The point is that this is a numbers game. The number of virus that you're exposed to, how many different exposures you get over how short of a period of time, can mean the difference of it overwhelming your immune system and not even realizing that you were exposed. If the virus can gain a foothold and start to replicate inside your cells, then they are doing damage, and you will have to deal with all the bad stuff the virus is capable of unleashing inside of you until you're able to actually fight it off, all of it off, every single virus. This simply means that it is important to limit the number of times that you are exposed to live virus, whether you are vaccinated or not. You do this by keeping your distance, by washing your hands, by wearing masks. When you hear the doctors say, it's sick, that people are begging for vaccine after that they have already become so sick that they're in the ICU, and they have to have that conversation and tell them that it's too late. I want you to think of it this way. It's only too late because it's a moot point. The virus is already in you, and you are already starting this process of building your own antibodies up. But you're doing it the old-fashioned way. The problem is the real virus can make you extremely sick as it is attacking you, attacking your cells, trying to find a place to replicate, while the vaccine does not make you sick. All the vaccine does is tricks your immune system into proactively making antibodies. So once you are actually exposed to the real virus, you already have the blueprints and antibodies. Your immune system ramps up production to meet the demand based on the number of virus that you have invading you at that moment. One final thought. Remember, it can take weeks for your immune response to build up. So, if you take the vaccine and you get sick within the first week or two, you've been exposed to the real live virus at the same time or near the same time that you received your shot. So do it soon, because this is really just a tale of two exposures to this virus. One is reactive and one is proactive. And I really hope that you tell a proactive story whenever this is all said and done. This is just to help all of my non-medical people out there. I hope that this helps. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Or if you have a clearer or simpler way to explain all of the innate and adaptive immune responses along with the inflammation cascade to non-medical folks, please do it down in the comments. I'd love to get some good ideas here. And of course, if you're sensitive to vaccines or have an immune system that's compromised, then you can't take the vaccine. But the vast majority of people out there will end up having a far tougher time if you meet the COVID virus out in the wild rather than by vaccine. All we can do is try to make our own personal immune systems as strong as possible for that eventual day whenever we come to face. There's no need to worry if you have done what you need to do. I hope that this will give you a sense of what is helpful and what leads you down the rabbit hole of worry. There are a lot of actions that you can take to help yourself. Get vaccinated. Use common sense around others. Eat healthy foods. Make sure your vitamin D intake is good. And get active before it's too late and you can no longer be active. Some people get there in their 90s, some people get there in their 40s. Please, just get busy living. And thanks for your time, guys.